All right, we're here for Whale Club Hangout number 22 with Coinsetter CEO Jaron Lukasiewicz. Hopefully, I got that right.
Yeah, that's
Jaron,
pretty good.
Jaron, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's exciting to be here.
And the panel, as usual, comes out of TradingView Chat, Whale Club, TeamSpeak, Bitcoin Markets, Coin Markets, and I have co-host Flibber and Drac with me today.
Hello.
Hi.
So, Jaron, as we like to do, we're just going to go over a little bit of kind of background of where Coinsetter came from to begin with. So, why don't you just kind of tell us, your background, the background of your team, and how you came to found Coinsetter?
Sure. So we started Coinsetter in late 2012. Obviously, the industry was very different back then, and it was just me. Um, but prior to starting Coinsetter, I worked in investment banking and private equity for 4 years. I left that to go start a company, and that eventually became Coinsetter as I started to get interested in Bitcoin towards the middle of 2012 and wanted to do something in the space. Our CTO and co-founder came on in early 2013. Prior to Coinsetter, he led a group that built Citigroup's institutional forex trading platform, and that was very similar to what we wanted to do at Coinsetter. So it was a great fit, and basically we raised our initial seed round in early 2013, and then spent about a year and a half building a low latency, scalable, just Wall Street class Bitcoin exchange, which we now offer for trading. And so we've been around for a while. We really didn't offer, I would say, like a product to the market until earlier this year, where we started expanding it, and we recently released margin trading, which is a pretty big deal for anyone who's actively trading Bitcoin. And here we are today. We also acquired Cavirtex earlier this year. So Canada, about half my time is spent on the Canadian market, and that's also very important to us.
So I know Flibber likes to bring this up a lot because, for him, he wants to see a very robust platform. So you did kind of allude to some of your VC funding and your just funding in general. You just articulate on that point of what's come down the pipeline as far as that capital.
Sure. So we've raised 2 rounds. We also are generating cash now. So I think one, just financial stability is obviously very important. What it's also allowed us to do, though, is actually like hire quality people to go out and build a great exchange. So if you look at the back end, I would say that it looks exactly like what you'd expect to see on any other traded market outside of Bitcoin, just in like traditional financial institutions. And so we've taken that technology, applied it to Bitcoin. That stuff costs a lot of time and money to make. So, if I were to go back and do things differently, I probably would have built a much simpler product and gotten to market a lot more quickly. But I am happy to say that, if we look at where the market is and where it's heading, we definitely offer something to anyone who is actively trading in the market. And I think looking at a lot of other exchanges who often have issues with their order book going down, or just like weird trading issues, that doesn't really happen on Coinsetter. And so I think that what we've built really can scale with the market. But again, it was not cheap, and it took us a long time to build.
So, Jaron, about these backers that have backed this exchange, then, I mean, can you say anything at all about what the long-term goal is from those? Like, you're in New York, you're catering to US customers. I mean, what about the international side? Are they focusing more? Do they want you to focus more on just the US market, or?
Well, our backers don't drive our company. I drive our company. So
Yeah.
we're a global Bitcoin exchange. We are equally focused on the U.S. as we are international markets. In fact, I mean, I think a lot of people here probably know that international markets are ideal for us, just given the regulatory environment in the U.S. and versus a lot of other countries. So, and then also I would say that we offer a number of bank transfer options that make it easy for international traders to make a deposit. Later this year or possibly early next year, we plan on opening up a Euro order book and with margin trading. So I think, looking at where we're heading, it is increasingly global. We not on Coinsetter, but within Cavirtex, we already offer a lot of trading within the CAD market. We're by far offering, we have by far the deepest order book in Canada for Bitcoin trading.
Okay, well, let's get on to order book depth in a minute, because I definitely want to talk about that too. But let's talk about, while we're talking about like the setup of the company, KYC, AML requirements for customers. We've got OKCoin minimum requirements, just any kind of random number that you'll call a passport. We've got BitMEX saying it's futures, Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out, so they don't need anything. Bitfinex is obviously, you don't need anything if you're just going coin in, coin out. So how are your KYC, AML requirements? How does that tie in with BitMEX, with BitLicense? And how is that coming together?
So, for anyone who wants to trade in anonymity, like, we're not the place to do it. We don't offer anything that would appeal to them. But we require basically an entire account setup in order to trade at all, even Bitcoin and Bitcoin out. And I think anyone who's okay with providing that kind of detail information, we offer the best exchange platform out there. But if anonymity is your primary goal, then I would probably go to one of our competitors.
Okay. So I have to fill out all the information for the requirements. What is that for a customer? If I'm going to go and trade on Coinsetter, what do I need to give?
It's going to be your name, address, phone number, a government ID number. It's going to be your a photocopy of an ID, a utility bill. Over time, we may incorporate maybe like a more risk-adjusted, automated process. But to date, my number one goal is to kind of not go to jail and prevent money laundering on the exchange. So I think we've been a little bit stricter on it, but those are my ultimate goals.
Okay, I know Vix wanted to ask you about this BitLicense in particular.
Yeah, I know we had been just talking a little bit before the show started that you had gotten through most of the BitLicense stuff, and it's been pretty hot on Reddit and kind of in the news right now. So give us your rundown of kind of, you've gotten through the process and where you guys are, and it's kind of the general outlook of your company, because you guys went ahead with that since you're New York based.
Sure. So, as a New York company, even just being based here, the BitLicense was a requirement for us. We also have a number of traders who are located in New York, and we wanted to continue servicing them. This is our home base. So, we submitted our BitLicense application yesterday, when they were due, and now we're in a waiting period, which I think will last ultimately 6 to 12 months. Our law firm thinks it could last up to 2 years. But the good thing and the important reason for why we filed is it gives us a safe harbor during this waiting period. So no matter how long it is, we have we have legal authority to operate in the state. So, our goal is to continue serving New York customers, provide a great exchange option in the state. We throw a number of meetups in the city as well. So, I think it's the kind of thing where we try to keep, if people want to meet us in person, they can come here. So, it's really just about the New York community and continuing to serve it.
Sure. And I know we discussed this briefly as well, but can you put to rest some of the swirling ideas that at one point in time, you guys were sourcing liquidity off of Bitstamp. The hack happened. You stopped doing that. We alluded to one of your web pages that still says you source liquidity from external sources. Can you just go over that? Because some of us thought maybe you were having to close accounts at Bitfinex, as Bitfinex just made their statement that they're no longer serving U.S. or New York customers.
Nope. Sounds like there are a number of interesting rumors out there. So we did for kind of earlier in our company's history, almost a year ago, source liquidity from Bitstamp, and there are a number of reasons why we discontinued it. The hack was a big one. That was pretty scary. We didn't lose any money though, fortunately. And another one was just it was a kind of a challenging API integration for us to maintain. So we decided that we could provide a better product to our customers, a more reliable product, just by focusing on our own internal liquidity. So starting in January, we really started pushing to have more market makers on the exchange. Especially this past month. I mean, it takes a long time to build up liquidity, and even this past month, we've doubled our liquidity in the top 10 levels of our order book. So that's been a constant work in progress. We continue to try to get more market makers on board as well, and so I think that we definitely have competitive liquidity at this point. But yeah, we haven't offered Bitstamp liquidity for basically since the beginning of January. And we don't have any formal ties to Bitfinex, and a number of our market makers on Coinsetter do pull liquidity from Bitfinex, but Coinsetter, that's we don't have any sort of order book integration on the exchange anymore.
Sure. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So we do know you just added 5x leverage, and I'm happy to see that you guys are moving towards what a lot of us, I always say we're degenerate gamblers, so we want the leverage. But we're looking at trade block right now, and I know Flibber can weigh in, because he and I were discussing this last night. As Bitfinex rallied and so did China, you guys actually dumped to new lows. You actually ticked almost 260 even here. But I guess my concern here is it's a 15-minute chart, and we're seeing almost a $5 candle here. It's a little concerning to be on even 5x leverage with that, as well as we're seeing 24-hour volume of 195 Bitcoin, I believe.
Yeah, our volume's still low. A lot of that has to do with, I think, a lot of our deposit and withdrawal options, and especially for U.S. customers, there have been easier options at Itbit and Coinbase. That's changing over the next few months, and our U.S. bank is requiring basically a big compliance integration that we're in the middle of right now. So I think that once it's easier to get funds into the exchange, trading volume will really start to expand a lot. This happens to be an especially low volume day for us, but I mean, we also have days where we've done 3,000 to 5,000 BTC. So, I would say we want to build to be the central trading place where Bitcoin trading happens, but we still have a lot of work to go. What I would say about margin, though, is that I think most traders here probably understand that historical trading doesn't impact your ability to liquidate a position. Ultimately, the quotes on the order book are what impact that, and so we have plenty of liquidity for anyone who's trading on margin and needs to close their positions. So that certainly shouldn't be a worry, and I think the fact that our margin trading is free right now as well is should be pretty enticing to a lot of people who trade on margin.
Can I ask a question relating to that? Sorry, you go ahead, Flibber.
Go, Jack, go.
Okay, yeah. So who provides the swap for the margin trading?
So Coinsetter off of our own balance sheet is providing, we don't call it a swap, by the way. If you trade with margin, it's not structured as a swap. It's, I mean, it's very different from how you would trade on Bitfinex or a lot of other exchanges. So it's margin trading, and you can achieve the same objectives, but I think you get into much more complex regulatory issues if you, depending on if you structure it as a swap or a future or a number of other things. So I would be careful about how it's worded, but ultimately,
ultimately you're lending either dollars or Bitcoin.
Well, we're not lending either. We offer margin credits on people's balances. And basically, we have, similar to other margin trading platforms, we have initial and maintenance margin requirements. So as long as you stay above your maintenance margin requirement, you're good to trade. There's no interest charged. There is, you're good to go. We're trading off of Coinsetter's own capital, and we have certain math behind the scenes that we calculate in terms of how much margin we issue, but we haven't we're not anywhere near our limits right now.
Okay.
Hey, Jaron, so going back to this margin and stuff, I mean, the thing is, I hear this a lot from Stamp as well. They're putting all this effort into compliance and time and money, but all the time, the leading exchanges are the totally unregulated, Wild West exchanges, the okcoin.cn.com, BTC, Finex, to a degree, and so at what point does a transition happen to getting the kind of depth and liquidity that like Finex or whatever has? How does that come through? I mean, are you kind of like saying we're building regulation compliance now, hoping customers come, or what?
Well, customers don't care about compliance, so we definitely don't build it for our customers. We build it because it provides things that either allow the company to operate over the long run or allow us to provide other things that the customers value. The most important for us being U.S. domestic bank transfers. I think that's been one of the biggest holdups for us, is the fact that making a U.S. deposit on Coinsetter still requires an international SWIFT wire, and getting that into the U.S. In the states that we can is really a big goal of ours by year end.
Okay. So as a customer then, a potential Coinsetter customer, what is the special thing about Coinsetter that's going to drag me away from the exchanges I'm on now onto Coinsetter?
Well, I think it depends who you are. So if you are not an API trader and you trade via web interface, I think the margin trading, interest-free margin trading is really attractive. The 5-to-1 leverage and 3x leverage on larger amounts is very attractive. We're going to be expanding the amounts of margin that you can take out soon as well. So I think anyone who's margin trading, we offer a really, really competitive offering. Also, I would just say the overall uptime is very good. So anyone who's looking for a lot of reliability or who has had issues with that on other exchanges should take a look at Coinsetter. For API traders, it's kind of like night and day. Coinsetter has 3 great APIs, including a fixed API. I think that it's still kind of early. A lot of there still aren't too many fixed traders, although we have maybe 15 or 20 people who are connected to our fixed API. But ultimately, I think that's more like future thinking. But anyone who's even trading on WebSockets or a REST API and experiences quality issues, those are things that Coinsetter can fix for you. So it really depends on the trader. And also, obviously, our margin is available to API traders as well. So I would say people who are looking for a great margin offering and maybe want something that's a little more trustworthy than other options in the market in some cases.
Okay. So we have 5x leverage on 0 fees. We have 20x on OKCoin, almost as good as 0 fees. Yes, we have the DDoS on OKCoin, so maybe Coinsetter's got that edge there, but OKCoin's got more liquidity. So, I think it's hard to drag customers away from the exchanges they're already on. What do you think?
We're not trying to steal customers from other exchanges. I think as we look at where we're going, historically, I think we focused more on maybe like institutional or like very, very close to institutional professional traders, and I think that was another kind of uphill battle still. The market needs to develop a little bit more before any of them come in. So, over the past few months, I think we've really focused on retargeting our product more towards, active traders and, not even necessarily API traders. So those are a lot of those changes are things that, we're just releasing products for. And, I think over the next 6 months, the products will be in an even more interesting place where we have U.S. bank transfers. We're about to offer credit card deposits in probably the next month, so that'll make it very easy to make a deposit on the exchange. And there are a number of things. But I think someone who is trading on OKCoin and happy with it, then stick with OKCoin. And Bitfinex offers a lot of liquidity, and Philip Potter is a great guy, and the rest of their team are all great people. They're reputable. So, if you're happy with Bitfinex, stick there. But I do think that our platform is worth trying out, and we're really targeting newer people who are coming into the space and making sure that they hear about us and that we offer products that they want.
Right there is what I was going to bring up, because Jaron, I've noticed that your Coinsetter blog, and also the emails that you send out, and it includes those kind of tutorial blogs, is really trying to get the kind of newer retail that doesn't want to look outside of the States, which is really your primary focus. Not to kind of put you guys in a box, but I see a similarity between you guys and Coinbase Exchange, and really a lot of that is getting new people acquainted to trading Bitcoin, and I think that's a really strong demographic to explore. It's one thing that Flibber and I, sitting right here, as well as Drac, probably kind of overlook, because we forget, like, we just send money across the world and don't think about it very much. But newer people, that's a big sticking point. And I've seen what you guys have been doing as far as, like I said, your tutorials and blog posts, and it seems that's really your focus. Did I get that right?
Yeah, and you and I have spoken about this previously, but I would just say to anyone watching the video, when you're running an exchange, a lot of times you're kind of living in a black box and you don't know why people aren't using the product. So if there are people out there who are watching this and have an opinion on, okay, well, actually I was thinking about using Coinsetter, or I am, but this is why I chose someone else, please email me at jaron@coinsetter.com, because that feedback, means a lot to us. Otherwise, a lot of times we're just guessing. Although I do think that we've kind of figured some of that out over the last 6 months, and are kind of in the middle of making a lot of those adjustments now.
Hey, Jaron, I want to say I got a personal email. It felt like a personal email. It's probably a spammed one. Before you got going. Hey, Flibber, come and check out the exchange. And I was like, my God, this guy. He's personally emailed me. I said, it got me to go over there. Yeah, maybe it was. But yeah, you got me to go over there, and I felt good. And that's really the only reason why Coinsetter stuck on my head, because apart from that, I haven't seen it on Wisdom, I haven't seen it on CryptoWatch, I haven't seen it on TradingView, and if I can't chart it, I can't trade it, and if I can't watch it, I can't be like, oh, Coinsetter's dumping. So it kind of it has less significance. So I think getting on those, platform great on Trading Block. I don't know anybody that's ever pasted me a Trading Block chart, trade block chart. So are you going to get on all the exchange, listing sites to raise your awareness there?
Writing myself a note now.
I wanted to just add in there that if you use Trade Block, their scrolling features is backwards as far as making the chart bigger and smaller. But I do think Flibber hits a very good point there, that part of brand awareness is being on those platforms. It's kind of like a seal of approval. And yeah, I very rarely do I ever look at Trade Block.
Yeah, it's funny. I live in my own bubble, apparently.
Drac,
we'll
I know
definitely look into getting on some of those.
Drac, I know you had brought up some issues. Do you want to hash them out here?
Yeah, so going back to some things you were saying earlier, you're saying you put a lot of time into developing your platform and optimizing performance, and you kind of made a claim that you're better than other sites that have problems now and again. But I mean, how would you know how good your performance is if you don't have the kind of volume and traffic of the likes of OKCoin and Bitfinex?
Well, I'd be curious to look at some of the exchanges and see how much traffic they actually have. But that's maybe another chat for another time. I mean, we've done a lot of performance testing, and I mean, we kind of know where we stand.
Listen. I mean, I sorry to cut you there, but I think that's rather unfair. It's a kind of a wild assumption you're making. I mean, OKCoin today has done 11,000 Bitcoin on their international side. Bitfinex has done, 9,000. Stamp's done 7,000. I mean, and your exchange has done 194. I don't think that you're getting the traffic, the real world traffic. And bear in mind that there are a lot of API traders on Bitfinex and OKCoin. So I think it's just, seems a bit strange that you can make a claim when you don't actually have the stress testing, especially at times of high market.
Well, I'm not sure how this is a productive line of conversation. Like, I definitely understand your point, but ultimately, I think, one, in the Chinese markets, there's no transparency. So do I believe the volume numbers that are happening in those markets? No. I think that we look at a number of other competitors who are not Bitfinex, who are not Coinbase. I mean, I think a lot of their volume is happening off exchange. So, I mean, if you want to test it, I think you should definitely come on Coinsetter and see what you can do there. But I think just looking at trading volume alone isn't enough to say, like, okay, well, one exchange is good or bad. Like, order volume is what matters when you're building this technology. And I mean, we always have a filled order book, so we're accepting hundreds of orders, often a second, and we kind of know that our APIs are robust, even if it doesn't always reflect in the volumes, and sometimes it does.
Drac, are you satisfied?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wanted to kind of move now because one of the big announcements you guys had, actually it was right around the New York conference where Libra and I met you. So you guys have acquired Cavirtex. So talk a little bit about that acquisition and how it fits into your overall vision going forward.
Yeah, I mean, Cavirtex is such an important part of our company, and we actually do a lot more volume in Canada than we do on Coinsetter right now. So, we also learn a lot through that acquisition, things that work there that we should be integrating on Coinsetter. And we also have the benefit of it, having kind of a long track record in the company, and that brings, mostly a lot of advantages for us. So, we acquired the company. Cavirtex is the only Bitcoin exchange in Canada that has a compliance-approved bank account, and that's really important to being able to provide stability in the country. I think that we also looked at a lot of the liabilities the company had and felt that we were able to fix them, and we successfully did that. So I think we've been able to clean up the company a little bit. One of our big priorities now is bringing the Cavirtex non-voting shareholders, which previously represented about 7% of the company, into Coinsetter in a legal way, and I can tell you that is extremely challenging. But I think we'll have that done hopefully near the end of the year or early next year at worst. But I think we're taking a very messy situation there and cleaning it up. And I think if you already look at the volume and the revenue that we even did last month, it was it's obviously very exciting for us. Now the question is how can we keep growing in that market, and what other products do people want?
Well, exactly, and that's what I was just going to ask you that. So what else do you see as far as product development going forward? You have 5x leverage on spot. Clearly we've seen, and we're starting to see even more of the derivative products. Obviously futures was that first the first trial of that as a linear product. Now we're even seeing options. So what's your viewpoint on those kind of future products?
The things I'm excited about are, I mean, options don't excite me because I'm located in the U.S. and it's clearly regulated by the CFTC, and I mean, the CFTC regulation is just so restrictive that it's not worth operating under it in this industry. So the things that we're really focused on are adding additional order books. Ethereum trading is something that we're going to be opening up. And then we're also looking at different forays into mining and products around that. And that doesn't just stop at Bitcoin. And I think that as you look at when we look at it as a company, things that I think can be interesting are ways that we can possibly integrate people who are actively trading or mining in Bitcoin into maybe what some of the banks are doing right now as they start to test out or produce their own coins.
And Go ahead, Flipper.
This Ethereum trading, I've heard Kraken added it also, and it feels to me like the less popular exchanges are feeling the Ethereum kind of like buzz bandwagon, thinking, well, people are going to want to trade it. If I get on there first, I can get that Ethereum volume, and thus they can also build into that BTC volume. Is that the plan? Is that what it feels like out there in the exchange war space?
Maybe, but I think that the bigger I was up in Toronto speaking at an event maybe a month ago, and I watched Vitalik talk as well, and that's where I actually got pretty interested in Ethereum. If what they say is true, which is that a lot of developers who are building decentralized or like very cryptographic applications are spending 90% of their time on the decentralization and the cryptography, and they handle all of that and allow you to spend all of your time building the app. If that's true, that premise, then I think that their platform is really, really interesting and actually provides something that Bitcoin doesn't. So whereas Bitcoin, I feel like, is kind of trying to figure out what's its place in the world, does it have value? Like we can talk about these ideas that happen 20 years from now, but like ultimately, I'm working on building a business now and have requirements that I need to fulfill to succeed in terms of just like producing revenue and stuff like that.
So you're bullish on Ether then, really?
I am. Assuming everything that they say is true.
What about
big assumption?
What about that article that came out the other day on Cointelegraph about they're going to run out of money for developers? Lalalalala. Did you read that one?
Well, I kind of already knew that story. It's kind of a buzzy story around Toronto right now, and I mean, I think it's true. Like they burnt through a ton of money in a year, and it's probably why they finally launched. It's not great to have something where the people behind it are becoming cash strapped, but ultimately a lot of entrepreneurs succeed when they start to have a fire lit underneath them. So I think that's what's happening there. I think they finally launched code because they're feeling some really intense pressure. They're probably not sleeping very well right now, but I think they really want to succeed. So if they have that much pressure and they're really focused on winning and succeeding and seeing this thing through, then I think that's actually could be a good thing. So
okay.
On the positive side for Ether, just to sort of fill in the other side, I mean, there are quite a lot of big money people in the Ether community. So I would be suspicious if it would just sort of dry up and wither away.
And not to go too far down that rabbit hole, and to take off my idealist hat for a moment, and I hope Ether succeeds and it's a brilliant product, but really ultimately as a trader, do I care? If I can short the product, do I care if they succeed? Because I can make money on the way down too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well that's cool. I wanted to know because I was interested in buying Ether as well. I think it could pump, so it kind of like a Kraken attracted me with that. So yeah, it's good to know what the angle was behind that.
Would you be interested in offering margin trading for Ether?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how the market gets built up, and I think to start, we're just going to offer it OTC, and so build up an OTC desk around Ether. And but yeah, I mean the goal is to offer like a full central limit order book with margin trading at some point for it.
Sure, and as long as we're still in this kind of new product, forward-looking segment here, I know that it wasn't too long ago you made some announcements with a Forex broker. I'm not entirely informed on that. Can you just give me what was going on there, as well as what are some of the future plans going on with that?
Yeah, it's actually really exciting. Not at all exciting to almost anyone watching this video, but I think one of the important things that we've done is we've built a plug-and-play solution for Forex brokers to offer Bitcoin trading. So we actually partnered with a company called Shift Forex, which does advisory and consulting for the Forex industry. And on top of our fixed API, we've also built a MetaTrader plugin that allows Forex brokers who offer MetaTrader to basically just like plug straight into our exchange, and it's a very easy integration. Now they can offer BTC USD as a currency pair. People can go long and short. So it's pretty exciting. We have 2 Forex brokers who are signed up now, and we're going to keep pushing. And so I think if you look at the next 2 years, what we can do, Coinsetter could definitely be positioned as kind of the back end liquidity source for major Forex brokers. And the 2 we have lined up right now who are currently in their integration, they've made a deposit. They're large. They're top 5 Forex brokers. So. Yeah. I think that's an exciting thing to people who are looking at already market making on Coinsetter or going to be market making on Coinsetter, that over the next 6 months, if we get trading from some of these major Forex brokers, that can convert into a lot of trading volume as well, on top of our own initiative for reaching out to retail margin traders.
Yeah, I have to take a little contention with you saying that it has very little interest to anybody listening to this program, because one thing that we've seen as a very defined trend, especially when Bitcoin has been going sideways, is a large bleed over into the FX markets. And we have brokers. I mean, one broker I think was probably, everybody here is familiar with that one, and has kind of been the pioneer in that industry as far as using Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out as collateral for, Euro USD and a whole range of FX pairs. But I, even today, have seen the integration of MT4 and, as well as cryptocurrency pairs on some of those platforms, so exotic as LTC JPY. So, I mean, it's
cool.
It's there. So,
yep.
Jaron, I just wanted to ask about the New York customer base, because you mentioned hosting these things in New York, and since the New York Bitcoin conference, New York has held a special place in my heart. So these, the people in New York, the kind of customers or people that you are meeting with, what kind of people are these? Because some people say, Bitcoin's in this lull, this nuclear winter kind of period. What is the New York interest out there? What are they saying? Can you say anything about this?
Yeah, our meetups I would describe as a little bit different from what New York is broadly. I would say that our meetups tend to attract, like we had Peter Todd at our meetup last week. It was an awesome meetup. And we maybe had like 25 people attend. And, we talked about mining. We had, I would say, a number of traders, like maybe a handful of traders. We had a handful of Bitcoin, like, tech enthusiasts, just like, actual developers. We had a few people from the banking world show up who really just wanted to learn more about mining. And then we had a number of people in the Bitcoin industry come. I find it's very interesting to see the different communities that exist in different cities. So like the ones that I have the most experience in are really New York, Toronto, and San Francisco, and they could not be more different from each other. in particular, the New York one I find to be the most like money-driven, which isn't necessarily great. I think a lot of people are looking at like, okay, what's my angle into this? How do I make money? Whereas like Toronto, I think there's a lot more genuine interest in kind of like why Bitcoin exists, and it's like a good balance between political ideals, between the interest in the tech and what the tech means, and also trading and just being like a normal person. I don't know. So, and San Fran, I find to be like blockchain. If you're not blockchain, then Bitcoin's dead and blockchain's everything. So every city is so different. I probably like Toronto the most.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And then we're going to make a transition here into kind of your user interface, user experience aspect of it. But one thing I wanted to kind of make that transition with is, how are you doing risk mitigation as far as forced liquidations, margin call? I know you have a very kind of standard system of maintenance margin, initial margin, maintenance margin, and down the line. But what happens if some user would go negative? How are you trying to mitigate some of that risk? It's central clearing, correct?
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, Coinsetter takes that risk. We have a 7-figure current capitalization outside of customer capital. So that's kind of I think we've looked at different ways to calculate our own risk and make sure that we don't surpass something that we can't pay for ourselves. Ultimately, our goal is when someone hits the 10% maintenance margin mark, that they're honestly, like, we reach out to most customers before we close them, because the market just hasn't moved quickly enough to make us have to immediately close out their position. But we would definitely do that. So ultimately, our goal is to make sure that we don't lose money. If we do, it is the customer's responsibility, but Coinsetter remains capitalized enough in order to sustain ourselves if the customer didn't pay us back.
Gotcha. And now I brought up my screen as I got some screenshots of your UI UX. First and foremost, I wanted to say that I'm happy that you guys have these little tutorial videos. Is I think one of the big gaping holes in the exchange spaces. There's a lot of people that want to trade, but they come on the platform and they're almost scared to death to trade because they don't know how the proper mechanics behind it. So I just wanted to put kudos out to the instructional videos that you have right there.
Thanks. Yeah, we need to add one for margin trading, because our margin trading, I've realized, isn't as simple as it is in my mind. So we'll be hopefully getting a video up for that as well.
All right, and then I flipped to this other slide. I didn't want to get too much into like charting and stuff like that. You guys are on TradeBlock. I think you guys recognize the idea that whether it continue to be on TradeBlock, TradingView, CryptoWatch, Bitcoin Wisdom, like really those have been the network effect as far as charting platforms. And I've had conversation with Nate from Bitstamp, and they're putting out all these tools to reinvent the wheel, in my opinion. So what I wanted to focus specifically on was your order entry page, and I've made some kind of little notes here as far as what I think would improve the user experience. Bid ask, if you could color code that, I think that would be nice. A lot of it really, and I know Drac and Flipper will probably echo this, is there might be a lot of things OKCoin has done wrong, but their user interface is one thing they've done totally right. And they have bid ask stacked, bids are green on the bottom, asks are red on top. We can move this all up here and have the full order book showing. Move time and sales off to the right here. That's just, I don't think that's very major stuff, but it really helps just kind of orientate users to something they're familiar with.
Yeah, I would just add, scrap this whole design and just copy the OKCoin futures design.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
I'll take a look at it.
I know it sounds like funny and stuff, but how long have we been telling BitMEX to do that? And they just
Forever.
don't. 6 months. So, yeah. All things aside with OKCoin and whatever politics and stuff, I don't want to get into. The UI UX experience there is really great. So that's
Yeah,
why
good to know.
yeah. I think that's. Go ahead, Flipper.
No, I was going to say I agree, with what you basically just said, that, yeah, issues aside, the user interface, the way it displayed it was very easy, and people are used to it, so...
All right.
Great. I'll follow up with you guys afterwards about that too.
Okay. Yeah, and I didn't want to get too far into, like I said, really it was just focused on that order entry page, because this is another thing I find when we speak to exchanges that seems to be a hanging point, is they try and put everything on one page. Like they want their chart and the order entry and like your balances and stuff like that. And to me, in today's Bitcoin trader demographic, we always have more than one tab. Always. So one is going to be charts, one is going to be order entry. And I think, you guys have done that. You have an order entry page, which I was happy to see. Just maybe some little UI brushing up.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely that's something I realized maybe after talking to you like 9 months ago or something, that is something we really need to focus more on. So I'll definitely connect with you offline. We've also partnered with a company. You don't see this yet, and we're still in the integration. But we've also partnered with a company that provides a module-based app trading platform. It's sort of like MetaTrader for today's generation. So hopefully in the next like 2 to 3 months, we'll launch that, and it'll eventually have a web interface, but it's like a downloadable app module trading interface where you can automate things in a million different ways, or just like trade more easily. So I think that front end user experience is something that I've now realized is something we really need to focus on and want to make better.
Just be careful with the kind of build your own interface kind of way of going about things. I know BitMEX has talked to us about that, but I side with Zane. Him coming from OKCoin and Bitfinex, is sometimes you actually have to give the users, the platform. Don't give them too many options, but what I would recommend is have maybe a default template that you think is the best one, and then also have the ability to customize it if they so desire. Because if you give it to them without, just like, here, you guys can build whatever you want, that's another, kind of user experience issue that could arise, where people are just so overwhelmed that, it deters them from trading on your platform.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. So lastly, and we're kind of running up on our, I like to keep these up to about a 1 hour time period. I was actually very surprised, pleasantly surprised, that you guys actually offer 25% of the user-generated fees for referrals, correct?
We have. It's more like high-touch referrals, though, so it has kind of high minimums, and anything that's automated is something that we want to build a better referral program for. But like the average person, I would just say, who's putting this on their website, it's probably not quite there for them. But if you're, for instance, introducing us to like a prop shop or something, I think that you can make a lot of money that way. And it's obviously an interesting customer that we've built the ideal systems for.
Yeah, I guess I would slightly retort that. And you may want to look at devising a cookie-based platform, even if it's a lower percentage, for kind of standard users. And that was kind of what I was going to touch on as well, is, currently you have it as a referral code that needs to be typed in versus cookie-based, which there's friction there. As well as, why wouldn't you, if you are getting base customers, having you just explain to me that you're looking for kind of high touch as far as the referrals go, why not just auto enroll, users into the referral program. It could just be an initial page.
I mean, it's not that I don't want to do it. Like, you're 100% spot on. It's just a lot of development work that we've decided to focus on other things. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's not because of a lack of want to do that.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. I get that. It's just I had to bring it up as we all in this Hangout tend to figure out creative ways to get referral links into all kinds of different things.
Yeah, noted. Maybe we'll try to get that back on our development timeline this year.
All right. And Flibber, Drac, do you have any additional comments as we run towards the end here?
I'm pretty good. I've enjoyed talking to you, Jaron.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. And I always find a lot of value in talking to you. So whether it's you guys, which I'm definitely going to follow up online on some of the things that we've talked about, but really anyone who's watching it, if you have feedback or if you think Coinsetter is great, then you should definitely just go create an account now and start trading. But we're always looking to make things even better. So feel free to reach out to me directly.
All right, and with that, thanks, Jaron, for coming on Hangout today. And I'll give a farewell. Drac, Flibber, you can see us all at Whale Club TeamSpeak, ts.whaleclub.io. And until next time, bye.